Check this out, y'all. I want to give a big shout out to Proceed with Caution, man. Fire. Checking out Proceed with Caution. Two-thirds of the lives. Check out Proceed with Caution. Y'all here with God here. Make sure y'all check out Proceed with Caution. Salute the Proceed with Caution.
Send me $E. You better remember to proceed with caution.
What's up, Chico? Robert Smurdy, man. We now Proceed with Caution.
Yeah, I'm watching Proceed with Caution.
What's up? This is your African King of Coming Michael Black. Right now, getting G with Proceed with Caution.
Hey, what's happening to the girl Cardi B? I gotta check that. Proceed with Caution.
Yeah, this your boy on the Proceed with Caution. You heard?
Make sure you check out the Proceed with Caution project.
Yeah, we repping hardcore. Proceed with Caution.
I'm Jerry O'Connell, and you are checking out Proceed with Caution.
This is your girl Sophia Body, and I want you to look out for Proceed with Caution.
Not Proceed with Caution.
I'm June Ambrose, and make sure you check out Proceed with Caution.
Caution, man. Let's support that.
Please proceed with caution.
Y'all better motherfucking proceed with caution.
We're checking out Proceed with Caution right now, man.
Proceed with Caution. You already know what it is.
Welcome to yet another episode of Proceed with Caution. I am your host, Flea Pesci.
I am Iris.
Sean.
And today we have a wonderful guest, Tina, a.k.a. the Stretch Boss.
Hey. Yes.
Tina seems
having me.
Yeah,
yes.
Tina seems a little bit shy. Tina, what's going on, man? Everything's all right today?
No, I'm great.
Yeah, everything's good? Yeah, okay. Don't be nervous. We don't bite over here, you know what I mean?
Listen, I'm good.
She seemed a little bit nervous working the mic and everything. I'm like, yo, Tina, you know what I mean? I know you know how to work a mic. Like, I know you know how to move things around and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So don't feel intimidated at all. But Tina, how did you get the name The Stretch Boss?
I didn't give myself that name.
Mm-hmm.
It was gifted to me by my coworkers. So for those of you who don't know, I was in the rehab industry for about over 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a licensed massage therapist. That's what everybody thinks.
Right.
Through social media. But I am a licensed physical therapist assistant, which is similar to like a physician's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctor comes in and then you pretty much spend the majority of the time with the PA and you don't even know it.
Right.
So it's kind of the same situation.
Right.
PT comes in, does your evaluation, and then you pretty much spend the majority of your rehab with me.
Right.
So I was working at a facility and it was integrated. So that means that they had acupuncture there, they had physical therapy there, and chiropractic all in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I got hired, I was under the impression that I would be working with like athletes because it is located inside of a gym.
Okay.
And that I was going to be doing rehab.
Right.
But the majority of the time, they kept asking me to stretch people. And it wasn't, rehab is like if any of you went through physical therapy, you actually have to do like exercises.
Right.
And they hook you up to like electrical stim.
Right.
So pretty much for the most part, it was like put stim on this person and then stretch them out. And then send them to the massage therapist, make sure they get acupuncture, make sure they get adjusted. So I was in charge of the rotation of the way things went in the facility.
Okay.
So then I was like, damn, I didn't go to school just to stretch people. Like, this is weird because they didn't allow me to actually do the one-on-one that I really needed.
Mm-hmm.
With some patients that needed it, but the way that facility was set up, it was so fast-paced.
Mm-hmm.
People weren't really getting the rehab that they need. So you probably spend maybe 8-10 minutes with me.
Oh, wow.
The whole time you were there.
And that was
Because
like
it was
basically stretching.
Yeah, so it was like 10 minutes with me, 10 minutes with the acupuncturist, 10 minutes with the massage therapist, 10 minutes with the chiropractor. Boom, that's your whole hour that you have of whatever you're there for.
Right.
Wow. So just me being me, I'm always like looking for the latest things. Okay, how can I separate myself apart and gain patient retention to people to come in and ask for me? And that was another thing when I had got hired. They asked me what your goal is, and the chiropractor that was interviewing me, the doctor, I was like, I want your job. I want to own a facility of my own.
Right.
So, you know, and he respected that. And usually people, either they respect it or they get scared of it and be like, we're not hiring you because you're not taking my job, or show me what you're about. You know, let me see your work. So they hired me. So I was like, okay, I got to like figure this out. And I found something called FST, so it's called fascial stretch therapy. You can only get certified in Canada and Arizona. And so it was a 5-day course, very expensive. I flew out to Canada
Beautiful.
for 5 days.
What part of Canada?
Toronto.
Toronto, okay.
Yeah. So I went to the doctor. I was like, listen, I want to take this course. He was like, I don't think it's worth it. It's a lot of money, and nobody's going to really know the difference. Like, I don't think the patient's stretching is stretching. I was like, okay, I'll pay for it. I'll take my vacation, and I'm going to go. So I went, and I just thought I was going to learn a new technique. But at the end of the 5 days, they tell you now you can do your own private sessions. And they give you this whole thing of how to, like, market it and what you should be charging. And I was like, oh, I could do my own.
That's dope.
Yeah, I was like, I could do my own. So it still didn't resonate with me, but I was like, okay, that's cool. I could do it as a side hustle and start stretching people out on the side. So when I gotten back, I started with my patients, just single body parts. If you were there for your shoulder, I would stretch out your shoulder. If you were there for your lower back, I would just only do your lower back. And then people started coming back like, yo, I've been getting therapy for like 4 months here, and then you stretched me yesterday, and I had a good night's sleep. Like, whatever you did, do it again. And so I was like, okay. And then my name started to circulate, like, in the gym. And people were like, who's that girl that does all the crazy stretches? Like, we want to. Right. So one of my coworkers, he's a little bit of a skeptic. Like, he always like, well, I got to see for myself. So he heard, he was the receptionist at the time. Right. So people were coming in and asking for me. He's like, yo, why is everybody asking for you? He's like, you know what? I want to book a session with you, like at night. I said, okay, come at night when we're done working. Because I was still working and still doing that on the side. Right. So I said, after work, I'll stretch you. I stretched him, and he was like, yo, this is amazing. And he's like, people got to know what you're doing. Like, they got to know about this. And I was like, what? And he was like, yo, tomorrow when you come to work, we're doing an Instagram. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do an Instagram. Like, I'm too old for that. Like, that's for you. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. And he was like, we're going to do one. Watch. When we get to work tomorrow morning, we're doing one. So he opened the account, and he was like, hey, what you want your name to be? I was like, I don't know. And I was just very nonchalant. I don't know what. You pick it. Yeah. Pick the name. Yeah. So 3 of my coworkers, they were sitting around, and they were like, all right, well, obviously you stretch, so it's got to do something with stretching. Let's figure it out. Stretch queen. He's like, no, you stretch diva. No, you're not a diva. And then I was like, okay. But they used to joke around because when I had gotten hired, the same chiropractor who hired me, he hadn't taken a day off, I think, or a weekend off, like in 5 or 7 years. Wow. And so when he hired me, and he started to know that I got the flow. And I knew what he was doing. He would test me. Right. So he'd be like, he'd leave me alone and see how I could handle having 5, 6 people in one room. And if I was able to, get the rotation going and the flow where people weren't upset because they were waiting. So a couple of times he would just let me go. And I'm like, all right, I see what he's doing. Right. He's trying to see if I could just do this by myself. And then one day he took me out to lunch, and he said, I want to thank you because I haven't been able to take off a weekend, and I don't know how long. And because of you, and I feel comfortable enough with leaving you alone, like leaving you running the place, I want to take off every other weekend. Oh, that's dope. And so he was like, so when I'm not there, you'll be in charge. So when they found out that day, every other weekend, they'd be like, all right, boss. Like when I would tell them to do stuff, I'm like, listen, you got to do this. This is what we're doing. Okay, boss. And so then when they were thinking of the name, they're like, Stretch Boss. She's the boss, and then we put it, and then that was it. I didn't even give myself the name. Oh my God! I
think that's dope. I like the name. Yeah, it's like a little. You get kind of like used to it. It's like it just goes.
Right. And came up with the apparel design too of it, how like the whole name is put within the X.
Oh,
that was
pretty dope. My mom.
That was your mom.
Oh, that was your mom.
She's a designer.
No.
Wait.
She is, but
she's
like she doesn't do it for
visionary.
Yeah, she doesn't do it for a living. Right. I was like, Ma, I need a logo. One day she was just sketching, and she'll tell this story. Well, she'll listen now. But when I was a kid, I had this Malcolm X shirt. It was just black and just an X.
X, right.
Yeah.
And I wore that thing down. Like I wore it all the time. So I don't know. The shirt, I don't know what happened, but she thought of the shirt. She's like, maybe an X and then your name. Fire. And then so she...
That's
then
fire.
We put it together, and then that was it.
Because the X can actually, when I look at it, it gives me the stretch feeling, and I see the E in the middle, and I'm like, okay, the stretch boss. Okay, I get what she's doing. I get the idea. I see where she's going with it. So that's pretty dope how everything actually came together. But you actually told us from your story, the journey from actually when you first started and got into the facility, and then, you know what I'm saying, made your way into educating yourself in Canada. What was your initial take where you were like, I want to help people get better, I want to get into physical therapy, or this is what I want to, where was that?
When I got into why I got into physical therapy?
Yeah, like where, like what made you decide like this is what I wanted to do before learning, going into this facility, taking this interview, just down the third?
So I think it's one of those things that was always in me, but you don't see it. Like then when it happens and you're in it, in hindsight, you're just like, oh, why I never saw that before? Like, why did it take me so long to realize that this is what I was supposed to do? So fitness and health has always been a part of my world. I ran track in high school the first year, and after that I didn't do it. But I've always, like, running was my thing. Then after running, I did the same thing that every female would do when they first start working out, was just like run. And then my dad was like, girl, you're getting too skinny. You need to go to the gym. And then I was like, okay. So he's like, I'm going to take you to the gym. I have a friend who owns a gym, and he's going to show you how to work out. So I trained with him. I tried to get into the bodybuilding world.
Oh, really?
Wow. How was that?
Hard.
It wasn't hard.
Because I'm about to say, like, why did your dad take you to the gym? Like, he wants you to work on your squat game? What was going on?
No, he just wanted me to gain
Tone
muscle,
up,
tone
yeah.
up, because
Tone
I was
up.
getting lean.
Oh,
so, like,
yeah.
if you ever look at a sprinter and a marathon runner, marathon runners are, like, long and linky. They don't really have a lot of muscle to them.
Right.
So my dad just noticed that, like, I was losing weight, but I wasn't getting toned, like you said. So he was like, you need to go to the gym if you want to, you know, get toned. And I know what you're looking for, but running's not going to do it.
Right.
So I said, okay. So I went there and I trained, and then I got bit by, like, the bodybuilding bug. I went to compete twice.
Oh, shit.
But I never went on stage. The last time I was supposed to, I found out I was pregnant with my daughter.
Oh, wow.
And then, which was funny because the coach I had, he was like, when you do bodybuilding, every week you got to do a check-in with your coach, and they look at your body and they look at your physique and stuff. So he's like, you holding water in your stomach and you never hold water. And then he was like, something's going on. Like, you never hold water in your stomach. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. But so then after that, I didn't train for maybe 3 or 4 years after I had my daughter.
Oh, wow.
I was just working. So I ended up in the car business. So I say that to say, because people just think it's something that happened. Right. Or usually people who do rehab, they get injured. They've had an injury themselves, and really? They had to rehab, and they're like, oh, I want to do that because this helped me so much. But for me, it wasn't that. It was like I've always had an interest in, like, what the body does, you know, just how you can manipulate it through exercise, diet. All of that just always fascinated me, especially when you see, like, bodybuilders and how just from the slightest thing of what they eat can just change their whole body. And how they look. So that was always fascinating to me. So I was going to go to school for nutrition on a Montclair State at night. And
you've been on the grind, girl.
Yes, I'm a hustler. Right. So I've had a lot of jobs.
And education, like taking the classes to go.
Yes, I was going.
So this is more of like a passion for you.
Correct. So I was doing it at night and going for nutrition. And I got hired at this car dealership. So I worked in the car dealership for a little over 7 years too.
Were you selling the cars or?
No, see, everybody thinks that because I'm a female.
Don't give me those eyes because I said that.
He's like, so you selling the cars?
Everybody think you sell cars because you cute? No.
So what you doing?
I was the assistant parts manager, assistant service manager, warranty administrator, dispatcher. So I pretty much had every job except used cars and selling cars. Because that was too gimmicky for me, and I was like, I'm not about that life.
I respect the authenticity.
Yeah, so because it's just too much, you know, putting on a song and a dance. And
yeah, that's the truth.
Like,
that's the truth.
I'm not doing that.
You're not putting on the song and a dance?
No. So I had to do. So I went in, and I got hired. When I got hired, I wanted to work full time to get insurance because I didn't have insurance. So the guy who hired me, the position was only supposed to be
hustler,
part-time.
Man, I'm hearing now.
Yeah, it was only supposed to be part-time, and he was like, "Listen, I have a part-time position. I said, no, I said, I'm going to be honest with you. The only reason why I want this job, I need a full-time job to get insurance. He said, you know what, I like you. Let me think about it, and I'll call you back. And so he called me back, and he hired me full-time.
Wow.
So I started there as the appointment coordinator there. But the grind and the hustle, I moved up fast. I had a guy who mentored me. He had passed away. He was a service advisor, and he had 2 daughters. So one day he was looking at me, and they would teach me little things. You know, it's that in the car business, it's like they want you to do everything, but for the same amount of money. Like you know how to do everything. But it was good because I was always an asset because they could put me, I could do the receptionist, I could do this, I could do that. And they could put me in all different avenues. So he's like, you want to learn how to be a service advisor? And I was like, okay.
But the pay is the same, right?
No. So it was different, like from coming from like an appointment coordinator and receptionist, it's different because it's salaries, commission. So he was like, you want to be one.
But that was also good because you wound up developing a lot of skills behind that.
Correct.
And
so I learned how to deal with people.
Yeah, deal with people.
Yeah.
Right.
So that it all like
it all falls in the
comes
same
together.
category.
Correct.
Yeah,
so that's where I'm going with because I learned how to deal with people. And he was like, I'm gonna show, and he said it just like that. I'm gonna show you how to get this money. And I said, okay. And then I said, all right. So I ran with it. He showed me how to like deal with people, how to talk to people, how to, just manipulate numbers and all of that stuff. So I did that for a while. And I stopped going to school because I was like, I got a 401k, I got a pension, I'm making money. I don't need to go to school. I'm in this for the long haul. And then my cousin had graduated. She wanted to be a teacher. And she had just graduated, and she told me what she was making. I was like, girl, I make more than you. And I don't even got a college degree. I'm not going back to school. That's crazy.
Of course, yeah.
But that paper is still important.
Correct. So I was like...
No, it's not, but yeah, God.
It is. Because
I thought the same thing, but it depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, you're going to need it.
So I was the same way. Like, for me, I think college is a business, right?
Super big.
And
it is, yeah.
And they want to just take your money,
They
right?
taking your money.
They make the most money.
So I felt the same way you did.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting fired after being in the car business for a while, which is very rare because people get fired all the time because it's like a new manager comes in and brings his people.
But it took them 7 years to fire you?
Yeah, so I ended up getting fired. And then I was like, and it was in a position in my life where I was taking care of people. And there was a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
So, and I had my daughter, and so I was like, what am I going to do?
Right.
Like, I just lost my job. Like,
you don't know what's going to happen
like,
tomorrow,
what's happening?
Right.
And so, obviously, I had to go to unemployment. So I went to unemployment, and then I was like, okay, I need a side hustle because this money right here is not doing it for me. So I said, I have my personal trainer certification, but I never used it because I make good money.
Right.
I just got it just to get it from me. And so I went to the person who trained me in the beginning. The first gym I started, I explained my situation and said, listen, I lost my job, but I want to start training people on the side just so I have a little side hustle. He said, okay, cool. I'll give you 3 people and you do the rest. You on your own. Okay, cool. He gave me 3 people. I started with them. I started with some other people. And what was happening was I was watching people move, and what was so simple for me, like body awareness, was not for them. And then people tell you, I can't squat because my back hurts. I can't lunge because my knee hurts. I can never do this exercise because this hurts. And then you build a rapport with people, and they're always complaining like about something hurting or area bothering them. So I was like, all right, how can I get this person to do what I need them to do without having pain? And so I started researching YouTube, Google, all that stuff, and it came like little corrective exercises, mobility drills, things like that, and I started implementing it in the workouts, and they actually liked that part of the workout more than the actual workout because they were getting pain-free.
Right.
So then I started doing more research, and in my training too, like, this bothers me, how can I fix this? Let me Google it, let me do this. And someone saw me in the gym and was like, you're doing rehab, right? And I was like, I didn't even know what it was.
Wait, what?
I was like, no. And I was like, what's that? And he was like, that's physical therapy. You don't know what that is? And I was like, no. So he was like, Google it. So he's like, listen, it's this. He was going to school for it. He was a PTA as well. And he was like, Google it. And then he showed me. He's like, Tina, it's basically all this. It's like a gym. The same machines. You already know how to use it. he's like, you should consider going to school. And then I was talking to another friend of mine about it. And she was like, Tina, I think unemployment might help you with that. So call and ask, because they were giving you an extension and paying for you to go back to school to learn something.
They still doing that?
I don't know if they're still doing it.
I think it was like during like the pandemic, I believe. They was having like
no, before that. Yeah, they would give you like either you had to pick up a trade or something while you were on unemployment.
Right.
Shout out to UE.
I didn't know.
Yeah, UE, man.
So I called and they were like, yeah. I've been blessed. I had a counselor. The lady was super, super nice. And she was like, yeah, definitely go down to the school, get the curriculum. You need your transcripts from high school, send it down. And she mapped out everything for me. So she was like, listen, first 2 years, we're going to help you out, like financially. And it was like a couple of $100. Like it wasn't like anything crazy. Right. But they paid for the school. And so she was like, not last year, you on your own. So you got to find somebody who's going to help you financially, and you can't work full time because you have to do clinicals. So that's when you do clinicals, it's like a full-time job where you're working for free.
That's crazy.
Because you're getting the experience.
Yeah, that's what you're really going for.
So I'm like, all right. So I go back, and then I'm thinking, I want this to be my major, and I'm signing up, and that's it. They're like, no, you have to take a test. You got to test into the PTA program. It's not something that you can just change. Yeah, no. Change your major for. So they're like, no, you got to go take this test. You got to pass. You can't get anything less than this.
But if you trying to know about something, how can you take a test on something that you have no knowledge of? Like, that's kind of hard. I mean, unless it was like common sense, basic.
It was common stuff. It was like science, math, English.
Okay. Oh,
it was
okay.
Almost like a mini SAT.
Oh, okay.
So I went there and I was like, okay. So I took the test, and they didn't tell me that the way they score it or how they do the average is different. So, like, I ended up taking the test, and I had, like, a 67, and I'm like, oh, fuck, they're not going to take me.
But that's still passing, right?
It's still passing, but like, I'm thinking, like, they're only going to take A's and, like, 80s and 90s, and I'm thinking in my head, like, oh, they really not going to have it.
He said, I'm not going in. I'm not going to be accepted.
So I went home. I was like, what is, like, no.
Yeah.
So then I had to take the test again, and I got like a 70-something. I can't remember. And I was like, damn, they still not going to take me. This is like a C. I was so upset because I had everything riding on this. I was like, there's no plan B. I'm going to try to make this work. I will make this work. But I was like, I don't want to go back into the car business. I was like, I refuse to go. And at that time when I got fired, I was done because I didn't like what they was doing, the divide and conquer.
Right.
So, because it's based off of commission.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why is she selling more than you?
Yeah.
What's she doing that you're not doing?
That is the worst.
You know, and then it's like, we need you to make these numbers. Because if this person's making this number, then you need... And I was like, come on, I just want to do my job and not like...
It's pressure.
And not, so it was a lot of pressure. And then, you know that person's making more numbers than you because they're doing things they're not supposed to be doing or they're selling... For me, it was always like, listen, if you came in and you needed breaks, I'm like this, and there's a list because they want you to upsell, right? They want to sell you flushes and all this other stuff. I'm giving you the game when you go to the car. So they want you to do all this stuff. So I'm like, I would tell people, this is your priority list, and this is the list of stuff that you don't need. You could probably come back in another time. So people are going to obviously pick the things that they really, really need. They didn't like that. It was like, why you can't just... Why? And then I lived in an urban, well, not that I lived, but I worked like in Patterson and Passaic area. So it's like, these people don't got a lot of money. Why are you hitting them over the head, and trying to get everything out of them?
That's the trenches.
So, yeah. So I'm like, no. So I just got tired of that because I'm like, I got tired of selling people stuff that they didn't need anymore. So I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm not going back to the car business because I could have easily went back with my resume and probably been like a manager or assistant service manager with the years of experience that I had. But I was like, no, I'm not doing it. So I took the second test and I was like, oh my God.
75?
Something, I can't even remember, but I know I was like devastated. I went home, I got drunk.
What was was the number they had you had to have gotten?
So
in order
it
to
ended up
pass?
being like 60 something and above because of the average of like across like the state, like all the different states.
Shit!
So
you
they
were
didn't
out
even,
there.
pass.
so they didn't explain it to us until we got into the program. So when we
God
had
damn.
our orientation, like you find out like, oh, you really did good compared to like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, yo, you should have told us that before, because a lot of us were like,
Nah, they
So
can't
you
ruin
took it multiple times. You didn't have to take it.
I took it twice.
Yeah.
I didn't have to. I could have just been done with the one.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So when
And got drunk.
yeah, oh
So
my
you
God,
was
because I had
solid.
so much riding on it, and that was like another thing people didn't realize. I went back to school when I was in my 30s, so it was hard. Like I had severe anxiety. I remember when I had to go drop off my transcript. I was sweating. I was like, "Oh God, is this my life?" Like I'm 30, I'm going back to school, and it was, and I didn't do good the first time around. Like I went to college straight out of high school, and my mentality was like, I'm 18 years old. I don't know what I want to do in my life. I'm still trying to figure it out. And so, you get the counselors, and they're like, so what do you want to do?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And what are you interested in? Well, pick something that you like. I don't know. That's why I'm here. Like, and so they put the pressure on you.
Right.
So I ended up like just taking random classes, flunking out, because it was just like, is this really going to help me?
Right.
Why am I here taking this?
Right.
So all that came back. But like I was like, oh my God, I hope I don't flunk. I hope this works, So when I had to drop off my paperwork after I got accepted, and they sent me the acceptance letter, you have to go down, and it's like in a little room, a private area where they have just all the PT stuff, like tables, and it's like separate from the college. So I go down and I looked at everything, and it was just like a light bulb switched, and I was like, this is it.
Wow.
I was like, this is what I was meant to do. It was just like, I can't even describe it. Like the hairs on my arm stood up, and I just looked around.
You just know.
And I just knew. I was like, this is it. This is what I was meant to do.
It's
and
that feeling.
Yeah, it was just like undescribable. I'm like, this is it.
Wow.
And then from there, I got into the program, and I was like, I got to make this work. And my peers, they didn't understand. They're all in their 20s. And they're like, I can't wait to make good money. And I'm like, I did that already. Yeah. And that's hard for you to make a certain amount of money and then go
back
That
to
pride.
school.
Yeah, it's like a
Nothing.
drug dealer and then going to get a 9 to 5. It's way different.
It's different.
Yeah.
So like for them, they're all excited. I'm like, I did that 2 times over already. Right. In my head, I'm thinking, and so they didn't understand. Like, Tina, why you always studying? Why you always doing that? I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I got a lot on the line here. Like, there's no going back. There's no plan B. Right. I got to make this work for my daughter, for my family, and so that was it. And then when I graduated, I remember when I first got my first job, and whatever I was making hourly, and I was like, damn, they pay me that much to do this. Like I was doing this for free. But that's how you know. Like when you do something or you walk in your purpose, you could do it. You'll do it for free, and you'll still feel like you're getting.
That's how you know that's
satisfied.
really a passion of yours, when you're not looking at the dollar signs. You're just like, as long as I'm doing it and I'm occupied, I'm good.
And then that's going back to your thing, like with the piece of paper.
Right.
It was different this time around, because I was like, I need this piece of paper to do what I want to do.
Right.
That was the difference.
Right.
The first time around was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You're just taking my money, and I don't know what the importance of these classes are, whatever. But now that I had, like, okay,
goal,
you're telling me I
purpose.
need to get this to do this, okay, then that's what I'm going to do.
Sometimes they'll just pay you extra just because you have that.
That's true, too.
Sure.
Right. But that's dope. That's really dope. So
it's a beautiful story.
You have a daughter.
I have a daughter, yes.
Okay, and is your mom? You mentioned your mom earlier. So basically, it's just y'all in the house, like.
It's my dad, my mom, and my daughter.
That's dope. That's dope.
Wait, so being that you said that, so you in your journey, you never really had anybody that you looked up to that was doing what you're currently doing, that you were like, okay, I want to go out here and help people feel better, or it was something that you said naturally attracted or came to you, and when you walked into that space, you knew that that's what you wanted to do.
So I end up finding out, like, one of the guys that I used to follow as far as like rehab and mobility wise. His name is Kelly Starrett, and I had purchased the book, but I ended up like looking through the back of the book, and he ended up being a PT.
Oh, wow.
So then more so like he influenced me, and then once I found out he was a PT, then I was like, okay, well I'm definitely like gonna go back to school to be a PTA. And then what he did as far as like branching out, because his facility was ran inside a gym, but it was his own CrossFit gym, and then he would take care of his members, his gym members. So then that whole business plan was like interesting to me too, because I was like, oh, he's running his practice like in the gym, but he's like the trainer and the the PTs, and he's training. Oh, thank you. And he's training PTs, or training his gym members. So that was interesting to me, and that was like one of the people that I did like look up to. I mean, I didn't have him really like one-on-one as a mentor, but I did like try to follow his blueprint just a little bit.
Being that that's the case, are you like currently have any game to give like a stretcher or a new personal trainer that's looking to do what you're doing? Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to educate yourself a lot, and then learn people skills, learn how to talk to people, learn how to know who's in front of you. But that comes from being in the car business. Like, you learn how to read people. I know who's in front of me. I know what pitch is going to work, what pitch is not going to work, just by your gestures, how you sit and how you look, how you talking to me. Like, those things are like...
Really?
Yeah, because you have to learn that. Because you like, so if somebody comes to you and they're like, listen, like when I was in the car business, they come to me and they're like, I just want this free oil change that you sent to me.
Right.
I don't want nothing else. Okay. So then now you have to learn how to finesse it. Okay, you don't want this free oil change, but we just did a free inspection and you got X, Y, and Z wrong with your car. I think you might want to take care of this because X,
that's
Y.
the way.
So like,
that's definitely the way.
So that's like, so you just learn how to deal with people, but not so in my business. The difference between, because somebody was like, because I got so upset and done with people when I was in the car business, was like, I hate people. Like, I was done. I was like, people are assholes. Yeah. Like, I hate people.
Well, you was finessing them.
I mean, it was just like, because in the car business, people spend a lot of money. It's an investment, right?
Yeah.
So you spend a lot of money on your car. So when they sit, we're sitting across from each other, you feel a sense of entitlement. Like, I spend all this money on my car, and you want to tell me I need brakes? You want to tell me I need this? This shit should be for free. And so they come at you aggressive.
Okay, now I understand what she's saying.
And it's like, whoa.
I got nothing to do with this shit.
I don't have nothing to do with that. I'm just telling you. And so then it just becomes this constant, like, battle with people all the time.
Because people feel like a lot of times, especially within the car business, like, that's how... either the mechanic or whoever, the salesperson, that's how they eat, and that's so they always looking. They looking for stuff. Yeah, like you looking at me as fool. Like, what are you going to take out of me today? Like, you feel me? Like, I already spent all this money.
So when I was like a service advisor, I'm the middleman. I'm the one relaying the information that the technician is giving me about your car.
Right.
So if you upset, you're going to be upset at me.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So after a while, I was just like, oh, I'm just done.
Right.
But when you are in the health and wellness world, it's a different feeling. Like, people come to you, but they're at their most vulnerable state. Because they're in pain. So people are just willing to do, like, I'm just whatever. And then with me, I'm usually the last resort, because they've gone to chiropractic, they've gone to physical therapy, they've gone to acupuncture, and they're like, well, let me just try this. And then they come to me. So it's just like, I handle that with kids because I know what that is. So I handled it with kid gloves. Like, I just want to make sure, okay, I get it. You've been through all these experiences, and now you're trying me for the last time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for the last thing that you can possibly do.
Right, before you go see a voodoo doctor or some shit.
But I would think that it would kind of be a little bit more like frustrating, because you got people that's in pain. You got people that's like, they've been through it, and then at this point they just tired. You understand? Yeah. So it's like, oh, I'm keep on coming here, and I'm traveling to just get stretched out. And, and I have to deal with that maybe tomorrow or later is back. So I would think that would be more of like a stressful job.
For me?
And position, yeah, because like, you know, when you dealing with people that's in pain, it's like,
No, it's, I guess, again, when you in it and you're doing it and you have a love and a passion, it's not. So you understand that person is vulnerable in that moment.
Because you're more of like a caretaker. That's what you're saying.
Healer.
And you have to accept that. Like, okay, my job is to make you feel better. And a lot of times it could be mental. So that's another thing. Like, people think that's all I do is stretch. So I thank God that I have my PTA background, which I don't practice in the field anymore because I have my own business. But the difference between me, because a lot of times, again, people would think I'm a massage therapist or that I'm just a stretch therapist. But I'm like, I have a rehab background. So that means I'm licensed by the state of New Jersey. That means I have to learn like orthopedic testing. I've done my clinicals in University Hospital in Newark. If you know where that is, you get every walk of life in there, every worst case scenario.
That hospital is crazy. They call it UMD, right?
Yes.
So one time I just went, I'm gonna keep it a buck. So I have finals, right? So I'm like, yo, I'm not feeling to take this final. So I'm about to go in here and say I have depression, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know why you would do that, right? But okay.
I go there. So it's like, all right, we're gonna go in another room. I said, all right, cool. Keep in mind, it's cool. Next thing they open up the door. It's like a whole nother world. I see two cops there. I'm just thinking like, why are there cops in the hospital?
Mental health.
No.
What?
These are people from the jail go to UMD. I'm telling you,
they
it's
had
crazy.
county in there.
Yeah.
County
I'm trying to. It was the craziest. It should be a reality show. And then I had gold. I had jewelry on, and it was like no. They were like, yeah, you got to give us your jewelry and your phone. You can't have that here. I'm like,
what?
I never heard nothing like that. So yeah, we keep it in safe deposit boxes. And I was like, all right, cool. I see why.
Wait, you got your gold back and stuff?
Yeah, I got. Yeah,
okay.
Come on now. But look, I see people cuffed to their beds. I asked this one. Keep in mind, I don't have a phone, so I asked this one cop. I was like, yo. I said, yo. He said, my name is not Yo. And he's black. I'm like, come on, son. You know, ain't no clocks. So then, it's crazy. So then I get back. It was all right. And then there's a lot of people in Newark, like, because it was cold that night. It was raining. A lot of homeless people
don't knock
go there.
my people in Newark because I'm from Newark.
Nah, I'm in Newark. Come on, chill out. So, but I'm saying, like, being that's an urban environment, there's a lot of people who just look for a warm place to sleep. So they go to the hospital, you know. So then I just see, this one guy came in. I don't even feel comfortable telling his story on this because it really get crazy. Like, it really get crazy.
Tell us.
Yeah. All right, so I'll say it then. So he's like this. So he's like 6'8", flaming, right? So then he's like 6'8", 275, flaming. So he's like, keep in mind, the reason why he's in there, he got a pickle stuck in his ass.
Oh my, yeah.
It's crazy. And he's just talking to him. I'm like, yo, this nigga is crazy. And then you got, and then across the hall from me, he has his own room. Keep in mind, I haven't been seen. Yeah, I've been here for like 3 hours. I don't know what time it is. It's there's one guy, he's just sitting there. He's just sick of this shit. He's like, yo, I gotta get up out of here. He's just like this, like.
Wait, all this for just trying to skip your exam?
Yes,
God damn.
Yes, but it's crazy. So I wound up getting back. I'm like, yo, fuck it. I ain't see no doctor. They gave me an IV. I would need an IV. Why I'm getting an IV? I just want to talk to somebody, you know? so then
that went left
real quick. So then I'm walking back. It's freezing rain. So I'm like, damn, I'm at NJIT, so I'm walking back to campus.
They had a hard day.
I'm talking. It's like 3 a.m. So I got there at like 9:10. So I talked to the security guard. I said, "Yeah." I said, "I just got back from university. It's crazy." You said you went to university? He said, "Oh," I said, "They said UMD is you must die." I'm like, nah, never again though. I love Newark, but.
You said he had a pickle in his butt.
Yeah, it was
That's crazy.
That's what, I was.
And them pickles grow big.
That is so crazy. Before we got distracted by UMD, right? What was your story about your experience. So that's you had to go in there and train people in there.
Where in UMD?
Yeah.
So I did my clinicals there, and
Oh,
I did.
wow.
But I loved
Gangsta.
it. Listen, I did 2 rounds there. So I had to
God
do.
bless.
I did inpatient,
Okay.
and then I did outpatient. But I didn't have to. I requested to go back. The first time I didn't request because when you're in the program, they have like the counselor or whatever that schedules where you're gonna go, where you're gonna do your clinicals. But I guess they figure, oh, she's from Newark, she can handle it. Let's put her in UMD. So, because the director of the program told me, she's like, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
That's a fact.
Any other clinical
believe
after
it.
that is like cake work, like it's easy. So I said, okay. So, but you know what it was? That's how you know you have a passion. I was talking about this with my mother. She was like, yeah, that's how you know, you have it in you because that's not for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, when I went there, I was happy because it was like, these are my people. Like, although there's a lot of, like, craziness happening, but, like, I'm from Newark. Like, these are my people. So I just felt like I was doing my due diligence of helping my people out in a way that I knew I could do. So the experiences there, like, I had everything. Once you put on a white coat, they call it white coat syndrome. So as a student, you got to wear like this little lab coat and it's white. Everybody thinks you're a doctor. They'll flash you, doctor, come look at this, wide open. I never seen so many balls in my life. Like everybody they don't care. Because all they see is the white coat. So
Yes,
it's just
so they automatically
they just
help
assume
me.
you're a doctor. Come help
Yeah.
me. They just everything's out and just like okay.
Nah,
She said, I never seen so much
University. But listen, although it may be crazy, like I had the best experience there because you learn so much.
Right.
And the instructor that I had, the clinical instructor, she was very unorthodox. So like myself. And so I loved that she didn't take like a traditional approach to everything. She was almost like the black sheep, but everybody loved her in the hospital because she would do what needed to be done. And I had 2 instructors, and I got another instructor, and the other one was very much by the book. And what I mean by is like, if we came in your room and I had to get you up, because PT in the inpatient, like when you're in the bedroom in the hospital room, it's not much that we can do. Our goal is basically to get you from the bed to the elevator. If you can walk to the elevator, then that means you're discharged and ready to go home. That's the job as PT inside. And then you continue the rest outpatient. So it's not much. We just got to get you to the edge of bed, make sure you can stand up, make sure you can walk you a couple of times. And if we see that you're good, we'll put you for discharge. But if we came to walk you and like you're laying in the bed and you went to the bathroom on yourself, it's not our job. We got to walk away, tell the nurse. But the first instructor that I had was like, we're going to clean this up. Because you can't leave in there like that. Because you don't, that's just more of a thing of a human being.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, how can I leave this person there a mess? And I don't know if the nurse is going to come and clean them in 10, 20 minutes.
Especially at university.
You know, like I had an old...
They ain't coming. Nah, that ass.
I'll tell you what, I had an inmate. I had to go walk him. He was left for dead. So when I went, the police officer was like, we didn't know if he was going to make it. He had a catheter. He had everything hooked up to him. And he was like, they beat him up. He did something in jail. But he was basically left for dead.
Okay.
So when they brought him into the hospital, they thought he was going to die. Like, the police officer was like, we didn't even think
he was going to make it.
Yeah. So I had to get him to walk, and he had a catheter, and I didn't see
What's
it.
up with Jersey?
Yeah, so he was
Brick
mad at me,
City,
that inmate,
yeah.
so he's like handcuffed. I can't do anything until the officer tells me or uncuffs him, and then walks behind us. So the thing with him was he had a catheter, and I didn't see it, and I tugged on it. You know what a catheter is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I know he wanted to kill me, but he couldn't move. So I was...
I think state too.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And, but you saw stuff like that all the time. I had like 2 inmates that I had to like walk and all this other stuff. Homeless, like you said.
Yeah.
I had a homeless guy that broke his back. Like literally. He was running from something, jumped over a fence, and literally broke his spine. So they had to, he had a fusion. And We had to, go. You have to put. They put like a brace, and he has this whole little belt that we put on him. So we had to go and set it up for him, and then try to get him to walk. And so we would go, and I was there maybe week 2 or 3. He was walking. Obviously he's still in pain, but he's walking up.
Yeah, but them pain medication, shout out to him. In the streets, they selling for mad money. Yo, if you don't need them no more.
So I was walking him, and all of a sudden I said, "You're doing really good. Like, you're gonna get ready to get discharged." And he starts crying. Damn. He said, "Where am I gonna go?
Oh, damn.
I'm homeless." And he's like, "I don't have a place to stay." And he wasn't like fully healed. So he was just like, "Yeah, I'm walking." And he was just crying. So then I had to go to my CI. I'm like, "What do we do? Like, this man's homeless. Like, we can't discharge him." And then that's when I knew about like social work. Like, the hospitals can't release you without having you
an address.
Wow.
But they can refer you to like shelters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the social work is there.
Wait, so tell me, is that some hospital sauce? So it's like, if say you're homeless or you can't afford the treatment, like what happens? Like, how did he wind up getting the
surgery?
Treatment?
They have to that's
by
just
law?
by law. Mm-hmm. They can't be like, your bag is broken, send them outside. Like, once you're in there, they have to.
So like, and if he wasn't fully healed, let's say he wasn't fully healed and he didn't have a place to stay, would he be able to stay in the hospital indefinitely?
Until they found him a place. Not indefinitely, but they're gonna make it their business to find you like a shelter or somewhere for you to go.
Because they will, if your name is in the system, automatically it's going to pull up the last address that they had for you. And they might ask you, like, do you still reside there? If you be like, no, then it's like, well, we're going to have to give you a referral and, you go to the shelter.
So that was the first time, but like, I know what you're saying because you get everything there.
How long does it have, like, I know everybody's body's different and everybody's issue that you deal with is different, but are you saying that with your clients and the people that you've helped, they fully recover? And if so, how long does it usually take for recovery? Or is it a situation where, just like PT, just like the other places, they keep having to come back and, revisit the situation?
So the way the way my business is ran is my goal was for maintenance. And I just want to provide people, like, they come to see me, but then afterwards I provide you with stuff that you can do on your own for your own self-care. Because I'm real big, like, you need to be responsible for your own body.
Right.
And surgery and all those other things should be like a last resort, meaning like where you can't get it's really affecting your quality of life and you can't get out of bed. Like, it shouldn't be something that somebody just, we're going to inject this real quick, da-da-da-da. So I say it's on a case-to-case basis.
Okay.
I have people who come in, like when I first started my business, it was a guy who was going through rehab and he had back surgery. Mm-hmm. And really all he needed to get was stretched. And he came to me and was like, I kept telling the therapist, like, I need to get like a real good stretch. Right. And when he came to me like lumped over like this. And I was like, oh, fuck, am I going to be able to fix him? Because he was just stuck in this position. And I was like, oh man, this might be like too much for me. And all I did was a basic stretch. We got done. He was standing tall, and he walked out like that's fine. Amazing, Never came back to me after that. So it's like my goal. I mean, you want to come to me once a month for maintenance? Cool. People don't, because I don't accept insurance, and I understand that it's not feasible for people to come see me 3-4 times a week. So I'll tell people, go to rehab, and if you want to see me once a month, or you feel like you're not getting what you need from that, then come to me, and then we'll work it out from there.
But is there for people that have these accidents and these issues, is there a way to actually fix them? Because I'm one of those people, and I've been trying to actually fix them where they not.
Well, what's your problem?
My lower back, my shoulder, my whole entire left side of my body is all messed up from an accident. Two car accidents that I had.
Most definitely, if that's not going to be your way of living, like, we can get you good, and then it's all about giving you the tools, because sometimes when you have lower back pain, which 80% of the population has like back issues and herniated disc, it's just some people have pain, some people don't. A lot of the times what aggravates back pain is micro traumas that you do throughout the day. So meaning it's little things that you don't even realize that you're doing that's
Like
aggravating.
slouching.
And it creates this chronic pain. But it's really not chronic pain. It's like you keep doing this, you keep picking the scab, you keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Then at the end of the day, when you go home, you're like, oh my God, my back is killing me every day. You keep doing it. So it's just about educating people too, like, don't pick that up from the floor like that. This movement aggravates you. And I'm also a big believer, like, I don't ever like to tell people you can never do this ever again, but we can modify it. And then, you know, because there are some things where people cannot do things because it's just going to inflame or, but we can teach you how to modify it in a way where it's going to not aggravate it and you're still going to get the same benefits. Like sometimes I have bodybuilders and stuff and a lot of them get front shoulder pain, right? And they're like, I can't do shoulder presses anymore. And some of them can't, especially if they had shoulder surgery or, you know, but that's not, it's about 50 different exercises you could do for your shoulders that'll hit the same muscle group. So that doesn't have to be the one all end all be all exercise that like there's different ways of attacking it.
How important is resting in between like your workout regimen?
It's very important. That's when it's called the rest and digest. So that's when your parasympathetic kicks in. It usually happens when you sleep. So when you rest, that's when all the magic happens. So the goal when we do work, if you have a body worker or somebody does tissue work, is to get you in that parasympathetic state so that your body can do its own healing. Because that's what I do. People want to use fancy terms and like medical terminology, which is cool if I'm talking with a colleague of mine. And even when I talk with colleagues, I don't really use medical terms. It's the point of bringing oxygen, blood flow, and getting your nervous system to calm down. So it doesn't think that sometimes when your body perceives something as a threat, it's going to make something hurt. So it's... There's so many, like I could talk about this all day.
Yeah, because the
so
nerves
many,
in your body, it's like it has its own
or
brain.
your brain. Like what you're telling me,
Yeah.
like when you have, it's very, not that it's uncommon, but when you have pain just on one side of your body, you're telling me it's your left arm or your right arm.
From the left side of my my head, neck.
So that's
left
a brain
shoulder,
issue.
Left shoulder, right head, thumb. Left lower
Maybe you
back.
got to get your head checked out.
That's a brain issue.
It's a brain issue?
It's a neurological thing. I mean, it's it's manifesting in a physical way, but your cerebellum is responsible for like coordination. And if there's something wrong with just one side of your body, that's very uncommon. The way the tracks work.
Initially, because it's two axes. Initially, when I first got the first was my lower back, my knee. It was just affecting like this part. And then, you know, my head and my neck, obviously. But then I had a second car accident. Now I added the shoulder and then, you know, the elbow. And you know.
You could probably do like visual drills and stuff for your neurological stuff, just like neurological stuff, and you probably get some relief. Not 100%, but you'll start to notice that some of those things will go away. Back to what I was telling you, like vision plays a whole, is major for pain too. So for instance, if you have a baseball player, right, and the kid is swinging the bat, and then every time he swings the bat, his shoulder hurts, right? Every time my shoulder hurts, I'm in a lot of, or back pain, whatever it is. They might need glasses. So you check their vision first, because the brain, if it can't tell how fast an object is coming, it's going to slow your movement down, because it's going to say, wait a minute.
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't know how fast this object is
That's
coming.
the first
at me.
time I heard this. Yeah.
I don't know how fast. Is this a threat? Am I going to get hurt? So it's going to slow the movement down. But now you're still doing the task, right? You're still trying to swing the bat. So now the brain says, oh, you still trying to do this? And we don't know how far, how fast this thing. Okay, so now I'm going to make it hurt. Now I'm going to make you stop doing that. I'm going to send pain in that area so you can stop doing this task, because we can't see how fast this ball is coming.
That makes sense.
So then you get glasses and then it goes away.
That's crazy.
That
You
makes
know what I mean?
sense.
So
yeah.
it's just, there's so many facets. I mean, there's myofascia. People hold trauma, and there's something called fascia, which is the fascial stretch therapy. And when I took the course, the lady told me people can hold emotions in the fascia. So meaning if I'm digging in there, if I'm stretching.
Where's the fascia?
It's underneath. So like, okay, you ever cut a chicken? That webbing? We have the same thing on our muscles. And it encases everything, your intestines, your muscles. So what they say is they're realizing now that that's like an organism in itself. But back when anatomy first started, they just kind of thought it was like a chicken, just like a piece of lining, and they cut it off and really didn't pay attention. And now they're realizing it's like a synergy that creates the synergistic movements in your body, because we're not robots. My bicep is not going to just work on its own. The tricep has to shut down in order for me to bend my arm. So they're saying that the fascia has something to do with that. So, but you can also hold emotion. So if you had something traumatic in your life happen to you, it can manifest itself physically.
So like where areas in particular do they manifest, or is it depends?
It depends, but a lot of the times it's like neck
and shoulders,
sometimes lower back, depending, like maybe you had something traumatic happen, you got into a car accident or whatever. But when I took the course, the lady was like, it's not a matter of if it happens, like somebody has an emotional release, it's when it happens. And so they educated us on how to like deal with people with that happen. And I had a lady 2 weeks ago, she cried an hour and a half. Her whole session.
Oh, wow.
Hour and a half?
Hour and a half. And all I did was just light tissue work, and she just...
Straight
and
emotion.
she came, and it's an emotional release.
Wow. Are you familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza?
Yes, I love him.
Yeah.
I love his work. Yeah, and I love that he's bringing it to the forefront of meditation and how we can heal ourselves. He healed himself.
Okay, real quick, who's that?
All right, he's a neurologist. But yeah, all right, yeah. But he talks about like a lot of things on the meta world. So like one of the things, and for instance, is basically like if we change the way we think, we can change our reality. And it's like if you're accepting like certain pains, we accept. Like for instance, like let's say if my sister, she has MS, right? But she constantly says, I have MS. So MS has her. She doesn't have MS.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we latch on to things subconsciously, and then that becomes our conscious. So what he does is basically, like I did one of his meditations, and it basically like you take a deep breath and then you hold your breath, but you can, it's a guided meditation. He's like, take a deep breath, right? So he says, you want to take it from like your stomach, like breathe in from your stomach, and because this is like our core chakra, right? So then this is where like it's like the energy. So it's like the part of the train where they throw in the coal in. This is where everything gets started at. So you basically breathe up the energy until it gets up to your head. Your crown chakra is the highest one. And then you just hold your breath, right? And then he's just telling you, like, basically he's getting all the things that have emotionally disrupted you, or you think about your traumas, you think about it, and then you just release. And then I was doing it, and you hold your breath for, like, sometimes it'd be, like, a minute, sometimes more, because I'm counting it as I'm doing it. But then when I realized, like, let me just stop counting.
When you stop counting,
go into the meditation. And then it got to a point where my body, I'm sitting down like, crisscross apples. My body's really like, it's like my whole body's like tensing up. And then it's just like right after it's like, and I'm breathing, I'm like, wow. Like I feel free, like, but it really like what I would take, the biggest takeaway from his work for me is basically like, you really aren't as sick as you think you are.
Because you can make yourself actually sick. Like it's a mental thing more than a physical.
That's a fact.
And
I think it's both, but yeah, your mental too could have an impact on your physical. But yeah, go ahead.
So like when you start to feel the pain on your left side, like does it come across your mind? Because like you may have picked something up, or that you was carrying something. I
don't know. It's always there. So it just depends on, I guess, like how I'm seated, or like how I gotta, like you saying that. I'm slouched. I gotta slouch in order not to feel the pain. You feel me? Like,
okay.
Yeah. So it's like, it's there. You could feel like the disconnect and how my right side of my body is, and my left side is a little bit like protruding out the body. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's been a training situation. But getting back to how did you end up growing your business personally? Because I see that you've grown it into a way where now you're dealing with different celebrities too as well.
That happened just by referral. Okay. So I reached out to NDO Champ. Shout out to NDO Champ. So he's from Newark, and again, the same kid who's like, oh, we need to open you an Instagram.
Right.
He's like, Tina, you need somebody like, because again, I didn't know the algorithm. I didn't know anything about IG. It was just like, I was posting these pictures, and like, he was the one like kind of just telling me what to do. He was like, okay, when you talk people, you get more feedback. When you post pictures, not so much. So do more talking, right? So I said, okay. So one day he was like, listen, this guy is from Newark. I trained with him once. He's got, I don't know how many followers. You should reach out to him. And as he's talking to me, like, I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm DMing him. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm like, hey, you from Newark, da-da-da, so am I. Do you have anybody that does recovery work on you? This is what I do, blah, blah, blah. I would like to offer you my services for free. Like 5 minutes later, he calls me. Oh, yeah, I want to come through. I need that, da-da-da-da. Like, NDO.
Amazing,
Yeah, so he's like, this is what I need, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. He was like, we're going to do a video for you, and would you sponsor me? Like, he wanted to know if I would sponsor him, which means, like, he would get sessions for free, in regards to, like, post and stuff. Right. So, started with him. So he ended up doing security, him and Hockey Moo, for Jimmy.
Okay.
So then they were like, yo, Jim's been complaining about his shoulder. We telling him about you. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, people say stuff, and then you just like, whatever. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, yeah, cool. One day I'm working out in the gym late at night. Hey, this is Jim. Jim Jones, you got time for me today? It's late. I know it's late, but, do you have time to work on me? I was like, say less. So just like, okay, I'll be there. So I stopped what I was doing, and I went to his house. And then I got done with the session. He was very quiet the first session. Like, he didn't say much. And then I was like, yo, you got to give me something. Because he didn't even say whether he liked the session. It was just like, I was like, just tell me something. And he was like, nah, it was dope. He's like, I never had anything like that before, blah, blah, blah. He's like, my shoulder's messed up. And then I said, yeah. He goes, I've been seeing a physical therapist, and then I got a lady who does massage that comes once a week and does tissue work. I said, well, I do rehab. Like, that's my thing. He's like, really? And I was like, yeah, I do all of that. So he was like, I'm going to need you to come at least once a week. Again, not thinking anything. I was like, okay. Next week he called me again, like, come through. Next week again. And then him and I build a rapport. When I met him, he was scared to, like, do certain movements as far as, like, bench press and shoulder. And then maybe, I think about after 3 months of working with me, he sent me a video. Like, he was able to do shoulder presses again. He didn't have pain, all this other stuff. And then that was it. And Jimmy's very loyal. Like, once he, like, messes with you, then that's it. Yeah. He's not. Like, he told me, you don't have to worry about it. Like, I'm not going to have anybody else, like, working on me. And then that was it. And then with him, just other people, he would tell people about me, but then people would see me when he would post me on his stories. Right. And then I got Mano and, like, all this other word of mouth. And I didn't even know. Like, people will come. Like, you hear, they tell you they're going to refer you. Because sometimes people say, oh, I talk about you all the time. I'm like, okay. But then when I started to be in that circle, people are like, oh, I know you. You the girl who stretches, and so-and-so told me about you. Or clients would come, like, when I worked on Mano, he's like, your name rings hard out here in these streets. I was like, really?
That sound like Maine, too.
And I was like, really? He goes, yeah. He's like, everybody talks about you. And I was like, okay, cool. And it's so funny because I worked on him, like, a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, Tina, how'd you get in this world? Our world is so different. Because, it's just, like, hip-hop. And I'm like, it's not different. It's like, it's not foreign. Hip-hop is not, I'm from the hood, so hip-hop is not, like, foreign to me. Right. And the hustle's the hustle. It's the same.
It's the same thing.
It doesn't matter what industry you're in. The hustle's still the same. Right. You know what I mean? And I think that's why sometimes they gravitate towards me, because people respect your hustle, and they see, like, oh, she grinding. She's doing what she needs to do to work.
Facts.
And I think that's how I got in that world, because people, they see you when you do good or you do great. People gonna notice, and they're gonna notice if you're passionate about what you're doing, and they're gonna know if you're hustling, if you're a hustler, if you're willing to put the work in. Like with Jimmy, he doesn't really like give me referrals, but what he'll do is he'll put me in the room, like. But I know what it is. Like you got to fend for yourself. Make the connections. You're here. Now that's your job.
Right.
You're not. He's not gonna grab my hand and be like, "Yo, this is my girl. She does this. That she works on me." He's not gonna do that. And so people have to learn. Like, I think that gets lost too. You know, where people just don't hustle or put the work in.
Right.
Yeah, they're expecting somebody.
They're expecting entitlement or somebody just to hand them, and you can't. You have to like make a name for yourself. You got to put yourself out there, and you know, just know that I've always been a big believer in like your work speaks for itself. You know, and if you love what you do, the money's gonna come. It's gonna come regardless.
Sometimes it might come when you die.
I hope not, but like
no, for real, because a lot of these artists like Basquiat and all of them, they lived and they really reap the benefits of their painting. And they paintings going for millions and billions now. So it's, you know, in the art game, and when you love what you do, you know, you just might have to just risk that. But sometimes you leaving a legacy, and it might not just be for you; it might be for your kids or somebody else. So, you know, you just gotta know what you're doing and how you wanna, before you go lay in your casket, how you wanna, like, you know what I'm saying, make sure the story ends or this journey ends. I had wanted to ask you too as well. What has been your biggest challenge as far as being the Stretch Boss?
The biggest challenge, I think it's trying to grow my business. And again, I'm not in my immediate family. My mother, my father. I'm the first entrepreneur.
Oh, wow.
So it's hard when you have, and I'm really close, if you haven't noticed, with my family. I'm real big on my family. And so in the beginning, there's a lot of question because they want to have the safety net. You know, so like when I left my full-time job, it took me a minute. My clients were like, you could do this on your own, T, like do this. And I'm like, you know, it's easy to work somewhere and know that you're going to get a paycheck every 2 weeks regardless than to take that big leap. And now I'm in charge of my paycheck, you know, and I'm trying to help my family and take care of and that's a lot. So, you know, in the beginning, my mother's like, I don't think you should wait. You know, why are you doing this? So I think that was the biggest hump to overcome, to just be like, I'm going to do this. And then whatever happens, happens.
What would be like your mother's response? Like, and how did you gauge it? Because she wants it to be like, she understands the safety net, like, you know. So like, how did you gauge like telling her like, yo, because I'm sure she was saying this more than once. Yeah. So
it was just like, you have this thing in you, you know. Especially, again, when you're passionate about something, it's something inside of you that you just know. You know it's going to work.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to work.
It's a gut feeling.
Yeah, like, and so I know. Like, I'm still not even where I want to be yet, but I know it's going to work.
You're
like,
there.
You know what I mean?
You're there.
So it's like, I'm like, you got to trust me because it's going to work. You know what I mean? And then I had to explain to her, like, business people move different. Like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. But, you know, if this person and it would be a lot of my clients are business owners, so they would give me business advice and be like, Tina, you got to do X, Y, and Z. And so I'm like, if this person did this, like, you know, then why can't I do it? Or, you know, this person made $1 million doing X, Y, and Z. Like, why can't I try to branch out? So it took a minute. And then finally she started to see, like, the little things that I was doing was working.
How long have you been doing this on your own? Like, as far
3 years.
3 years. Wow.
Yeah.
congrats.
I would have thought it would have been a long time. Yeah.
Me
I
too.
know. Well,
congrats on that, lady.
Thank you.
3 years.
I was working, doing it
For the facility.
For free. Yeah, you was doing for free too.
So like the first for free, and then when I worked at the rehab facility, I was doing it part-time. But part-time meant like I would punch in to work at 10, get off at 7:30, take my first client at 8 o'clock. And wouldn't get done till 11 o'clock. And that's Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, we got off of work at 1. I would take my first client at 1:30, wouldn't get done till 8, 9 o'clock. I was working Sundays. Sundays I would work 8 o'clock in the morning. All the way to almost 8 o'clock.
Girl, I don't know no woman that works as hard as you do. Where you from? Wait, so what's wrong with just getting somebody that's going to pay for your lifestyle? Why you working this hard? Like, what's up?
I think it's more so like it's just like, I guess it's just a goal, it's an achievement. you know,
But
like
7
the
days,
accomplishment.
God didn't work for 7 days. God took a day
It
off,
was
my
like
nigga.
I'm trying to build something. So I remember I had the same kid, you know, that was like started the IG and gave me the name. One day he looked at me. He's like, "Yo, why are you working so hard? Like, you're killing yourself." And I'm like, "If I don't do it, who's gonna do it?
Who's gonna do it?
Who's gonna do it?
Right.
You know." And it's probably somebody out there working harder than me. So that was just. I'm really like a grinder. And then that was like another thing I had to get used to because I stopped working Sundays, right?
Amen.
And then you get that this thing where you're not doing enough. Right? Because I'm so used to hustling and grinding and like I got like all the time. So when things started to get like coasting a little bit, I wasn't working as hard. I had a little bit, I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm sitting at home like, okay, what certification can I get? What can I read? What can I do? Because I didn't know how to like, and it almost felt like I wasn't accomplishing something. And I had a talk with one of my friends because she had, shout out to Melissa, she's the plug. But
Shout out to Melissa.
Yeah, so she helps me out a lot, and she does like management, PR, lawyer, everything. So she had booked something for me, and I'm like, they're gonna pay me how much? And I'm like, to do that? I'm like, really? And then I was like, are you serious? And I started to notice that I had like issues because my mother, but she's like, why are you not excited? And I was like, I don't know. My mother's like, you coming off a little bit ungrateful, like what? And I'm like,
but you know your worth, so
no, it was more of if things come easy to me and I don't feel like I'm working for it,
damn,
it's like, what's this? Because
it
can't be that easy.
Yeah.
So it was like, and so she looked at me. She's like, but it is. And you did work. You did a lot of work to get to this moment. So I'm still struggling with that, like trying to, like, okay. But I think a lot of times people don't realize, like, you have to put the work. And again, going back to your question, like, it's balance too. Like, that's one thing I struggle with, balance. I missed a lot of time out with my daughter, you know, when I'm working Sundays, all that. So now Sundays is for my daughter, it's family time or whatever. But I had to sacrifice a lot. You know, like not being there. Luckily, I have a good support system. My mom watches her. My dad will take her to wherever she needs to go. But you miss out on a lot. But the end goal is like, I'm doing this for you, so you have something.
So, it's a future.
So speaking about the end goal, where do you see the Stretch Boss? Like, what's the future for the Stretch Boss? Like, where do you see yourself in like the next 5 to 10 years? Like, what's the goal?
So I just locked in a place in Livingston because right now I'm working. Thank you. I'm working out of my home, and that was like quarantine made. Quarantine made and broke people during quarantine. So I'm working out of my home, but I just locked in a place in Livingston. So we're actually in the midst of fixing it up. I want to educate people because I don't want to franchise it. Immediately, everybody's like, you got it. No, because I feel like what I bring is an experience. So I really take in account when you come to see me, what you're listening, what you're smelling, what you're feeling. Like all those things are taken into consideration. The music that's playing, was the incense, everything. Right. So I tell people it's not just me digging my elbow into you or trying to get you, better range of motion. It's more than that. It's like a full-on experience. Right. I like the exclusivity because coming from the rehab is very 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 people in one room doing exercises. I like the one-on-one. I like building the relationship with my clients, getting to know what they need, helping them out with that. So I don't want to franchise it because I feel like it will become that. People, not that people are not going to, obviously they're not going to put into it what I'm putting into it because it's me. Right. But I don't want someone to take it and turn it into something that it's not or that I didn't want it to be. So a way around that for me would just be like being selective of students and people that I want to take on and then teaching them, and then they can go teach somebody else and they can help. So that's what I see in like 5 years. But I don't really want to like have this conglomerate of like, I'll have people, I'll have people out there that, you know, I touched and that
right,
I've
right.
trained to do things, and now they can do what they want with it.
Right.
But as far as me, I want to still be putting my hands on people and working on people.
She says I want to put my hands on people.
Yeah, you know, because people lose sight of that. They get to a certain place and it's like, I'm done. I'm not doing that anymore. You know, but I love it. Like I love doing that. And
well, I think it's amazing what you do, and I definitely think that is amazing that you enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it.
You understand? You know, some people just in it for their own selfish reasons, or some people just got into it because it was a passion at some point. And then, you know, people get bored. And I just think it's amazing that you doing what you enjoy doing.
Thank you.
You know?
And another thing, because you did mention, like, you take into account, like, the incense, the, you know, the lighting of the space that your client is in. I also see a lot of depiction of Buddha.
Yeah.
So,
Buddhist is very good.
Yeah, I don't know. Educate me on that.
So I'm not a Buddhist, but I do like a lot of the philosophies that they stand by. So I've read
elephants. We got elephants. There's Buddhists. You know, that just brings good energy, money. Like, you know, it brings in good energy. I have some in my home.
Yeah.
You know,
Buddha?
I have a Buddha. I have my elephant. And the crystals too.
The crystals too.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah, I'm big on energy.
They do work.
Huh?
The crystals do work.
It does, believe it or not.
She got
It
the
does.
healing hands. You know,
Yeah. So no, I'm real big on energy, and I don't do Reiki. People just assume it.
We was having a conversation about Reiki
I
on the last
don't.
podcast.
But I think it's something that comes natural.
Yeah.
For me, when there's an exchange, touching
like a
people
water
is an
sign?
intimate. Yeah. Touching people is like an intimate experience.
Yeah.
So I'm big on energy, like. And when you touch as many people as I touch, like you get very sensitive to certain things, and I'll know right off the bat, like meeting somebody that, okay,
That's
I'm
not
keeping
energy.
you arm's length, because I don't like that
you
energy.
can't touch, like, you know, I'm not gonna say a family member, but, you know, I hugged a family member today, and I would think on my way here I regretted it because I started feeling all their emotions.
okay,
on me.
yeah.
It's real, like it's crazy.
It's real, yeah.
So I was like, yo, I can't do it no more, and it hurts because like it's my family, I love them, but
I
it's
don't
like, yo,
talk about it much because I think it comes like people think it's like it's weird or like, you know what I mean. And
Trust me, it's not weird. I went through an experience where I was dating a girl, and then after our breakup, a lot of negative shit kept on happening. Like, it was just crazy. So it was like, yeah, that's not weird at all. But I just didn't know as far as like crystals and all that. Like that.
you need that.
could-
We are energy.
Yeah.
You know what I
we
mean?
are.
We are energy. So I'm happy that because sometimes in the rehab world, you have a lot of people who want science and evidence-based case studies. And so if you don't have science to back up what you're doing, it's considered like weird or just like gypsy magic, and you don't really, you're just making some
Witchcraft.
shit up. Yeah. So, but I'm happy that like Dr. Joe Dispenza is on, like, he's bringing it to the forefront. So now, like, what we've been talking about, what people have been feeling, now you have science to back that up. And I'm really happy about that because a lot of the times people were afraid. Like the one lady that cried for an hour and a half, she was just like, I don't know what's happening to me. Like, I never had this. I'm so sorry. She's apologizing. Like, then she asked me, like, do you do stuff? Like, listen, I'm not. Like,
where the crystals at?
and I'm like, I'm not gonna do no, like,
Yeah. It's a doll that has the
do I
needles
need,
in it.
She's like, I need to come back for another session. You got to cleanse me out. That's not my forte. That's like, but it does happen. Like you do exchange, and people who are open to it understand it.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say it's an experience. Like I had one client, I think he went somewhere and he had a whole spiritual experience. He was on a whole spiritual journey, but he saw me maybe a year before. And the second time he saw me was after his spiritual experience. So he messaged me like, do you do like energy work? Like, do you know anybody that does the same thing you do but includes energy work? Because when you worked on me today, I kind of felt that. And he's like, he had another lady prior, maybe a couple of months. He was somewhere else in like another state that had worked on him, but she did energy work. Like she told him she was doing. And he was like, but I felt the same thing when she worked on me. And my response to him was like, yes, I do it. It's just whether you're open to it or not. The energy was the same when you came in the first time. but you just weren't open to it. So now when he came for the second time, everything made sense. Like he was like looking like, oh, like now I know why this is here and why you have this. And I'm like, I do it regardless. It's just if you're going to receive it and if you're going to be open to it. You know, I have young kids who come, they don't care. You know, they're just sore or whatever, and they're not on that page. But the ones who are, they know what it is, and they're just like, okay, cool. You know?
It's amazing. Is there anything else that you want our audience to know? Like
about me?
Yeah, about you, your work, where they can find you.
They can find me at The Stretch Boss on IG, thestretchboss.com. It's my website. I will be in the Livingston location, which you didn't ask me, which I thought you were going to ask me. Because I get, so what is it like being a woman and I'm touching so many men?
I think he was going to ask you that.
I was going to ask. I mean, after touching the mic, I was like, maybe she doesn't
he
really
didn't want to get punched in his face. He said so close.
Nah, when she said the energy, kind of like, yo, careful.
So some people will ask me that. They usually ask me like behind closed doors. Like it's not something that I talk publicly about. But I had a feeling. I was like, I think he's gonna ask me this question. Yeah. So again, back to energy. It's all about the energy you set when you come into the room. So I think you pretty much, when I come in, people pretty much know I'm about my business. Like as soon as you meet me. So I think when the men come, they have that understanding
and that respect.
So I've never had that.
Yeah, but they have to come in. I mean, I guess some men are kind of like weird. They have to come in with an issue and want to, correct it. But yeah, you're right. They might be coming in there for other reasons.
Yeah, and some people are like, oh, you touch so many men. Did they never, like, men don't hit on you? Or like,
their groins start hurting?
Yeah.
Their nipples need to be a little bit massaged.
Because I have, like, female massage therapist friends, and it has happened to them. Or, like, some women are scared to get into the industry because they feel like they're going to get hit on. But I'm like, it's about the energy that you bring into the room. I haven't had an issue yet, like with a man, knock on wood, like being disrespectful.
That ain't wood.
Yeah, my head, being disrespectful. But, and I think it's just the presence. Like if people know when they meet you, I'm not going to try it. I'm not going to shoot my shot because I might get hurt or something. Or the impression is that I'm little and I'm not strong. So when people like, oh, bigger guys, oh, you tiny. Okay, yeah, get on the tape. We'll see in about 20, 30 minutes how you feel.
If he's massaging and stretching, they be like, oh, she's strong.
So when they get that, but that's like a question.
They didn't know you was a bodybuilder.
They're like, oh, I was like,
that part right there.
Yeah, and a power lifter. I did powerlifting for 3 years. So I'm like, that strength had to go somewhere. So
I always wanted to sit down and speak to like a bodybuilder, like woman, because it's like I was just curious, like, what was so fascinating, like where they just wanted to be strong and like built and like I really wanted to sit down and ask somebody
so
that.
The bodybuilding was more aesthetics, right? Because you want to look a certain way. You want to get a six pack. You want to.
It's not sexy. I mean, not
to
the big.
To you. But I there's bodybuilding. There's bodybuilding, and then there's called like figure and bikini. So there's different divisions. It's all under bodybuilding, but there's different divisions. So the one I did at the time was called figure. So it was like you looked like a bikini model, but you were more muscular. So you had like abs and everything, but you didn't look like a man. Because bodybuilding is like where you get like the women, like they're jacked.
I've seen some of this. Like,
no, matter of fact, I don't know her name, but she's very nice. And like she works out right here at what's that? Oh my God, is that sports? No, that's not Blink. That's right there by Magic Johnson.
Is it Blink?
Yeah. So I see her all the time.
What's the name of the spot?
What is it? Right there by Magic Johnson.
Copy.
So she works out there, and I think she's actually a trainer as well. But she's like, I'm talking about like, she looks like Wesley Snipes. I didn't know that was a woman.
Yeah.
So now, one day like it was like some teenagers and they was walking past and, they was being mean and they was being a little cruel. And she didn't speak at first, but then like one of the kids decided to go a little bit too far. And when she opened up her mouth, I was like, wait, that's a woman, you know?
Yeah.
And then like me and her got into a conversation because I was like, you know, these teenagers is so disrespectful. You understand, regardless. If I was their age, I'm not saying nothing to nobody that look like that. This how I know these kids is crazy. So, you know, she was like, explain to me. She was like, you know, I get that a lot. She's like, I don't care. I was like, well, you know, I've been seeing you for years. So that's how I knew she was a trainer.
Right.
I knew that's where she bees. And she says that she it's $80 an hour that she charged. I said, well, you make great money. That's amazing.
But did you tell her you didn't know she was a woman?
Okay, I wasn't gonna go there because that's like really offensive. And in case if she is a man, she thinks she is a woman. So if I say that, it's still offensive. Yeah. So long story short, like she was telling me she had 2 sons, and I was just like, I would love that. Listen, anybody play with me, I'm like, wait right here, I'm gonna get my mom's. So I was just really curious, and I started asking her, like, what made her, like, it's no easy way of saying this. So I said, what made you want to look like that? Like, it's like saying somebody stink. It's no nice way of saying it. So she is a sweetheart. That's what I'm trying to say. Looks is deceiving.
So what was she?
She's basically told me that she just loved working out, and it got out of hand.
Oh, she said it got out of hand?
Yeah.
Oh,
she said she didn't have like any, you know, she didn't have a goal of like being like that. But she said it just got out of hand, and she was like, she's cool with it.
Yeah.
And she works out. She's a workaholic. And I was just like, well, you never thought about going into like those pageants that they have?
Shows.
Yeah. And she was like, it's so many people that come up to her, and it's just like, but y'all had to see her. Y'all never see her on 125th Street?
Nah.
Don't make it hot, because she's going to come find you.
But she's cool with me.
All right.
Sean, you might go over there and say the wrong thing, and she's like this.
She ain't put me in chicken nugget.
Okay.
Yeah. Nah, that's what I say nothing. Look, you're a very nice woman. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, I said that to her. I was like, yeah. I said that to her. Like, but you know, so funny because she was telling me, she was like, you know, maybe you should come and, you know, and I will help you out and stuff, because I was telling her that I wanted to tone up. Mm-hmm. But
I thought you don't hit the gym.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm tired of getting a light bulb. It's keep on coming back. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna tone up. And this was like in a process of me thinking of going to get lipo again for the second time. So I didn't like put no money down or nothing, but I was just like, maybe I should just tone up. And like I was talking to her about it, and we had a good conversation. So I mean, some women, they are really just passionate about it, and she basically wasn't. She just was like, I just like working out. Like, basically, I fucked up. Yeah, like I was just pumping too. I was doing too much. But
so
yeah.
What was your reason for
bodybuilding was more aesthetics.
Okay.
Just a certain look that I wanted to get. Like I wanted to have abs and all that stuff. And then powerlifting was more strength. Mm-hmm. So once you get into the bodybuilding world, it's a lot of politics involved. Mm-hmm. So again, I try to stray away from that stuff. So I'm not like real big on like training at this person's gym, so they know that you're and they know you're competing and you're trying to show face, and it's a lot of that involved. Who's your trainer? If they like your trainer, then aesthetically it came down to because I had to work I worked behind the scenes of the shows. One of my friends was a promoter for bodybuilding shows, so I got to see like the behind the scenes stuff. Okay, so a lot of the times it was like if you have women who come in with similar physiques and they all look great, it can come down to something simple as I don't like her hair. We don't like short hair. Wow. So I'm like, come on, I'll just bust my ass in the gym, but because your personal preference is you don't like short hair or the color of my nails, I'm not gonna win. That's crazy. That's crazy, right?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, because it's like everyone's just mad. Like, how can you really decide? Like, all right, you're the best. Like, you know.
So there's criteria that they look at. You know, it's a certain thing that they have to.
Do they take any like qualitative data? Like this, they have 0.0%.
body fat.
yeah.
No, it's more just based on your aesthetics, like how you're posing, how you look, if you have the V shape, how are your quads versus your hamstrings? Can you see your hamstrings? You know, how are your shoulders popping? Like all those different things. And then it comes down for the females, at least the aesthetics, like your hair, your makeup, your nails. So when I saw all of that, I was like, okay, I'm not doing that. It just
too much.
It just turned me off.
Yeah.
So because it just was, you know, just too much on personal preference and not the actual work. So then I was like, what am I going to do now? And somebody's like, you should just try powerlifting, because I always like challenging myself in the gym. So I was like, oh, I did this last week. Let me see if I can go a little heavier. So I looked into it. I started training. I had some programs that I had done. And then I hooked up with a powerlifting team at a Palin gym.
You want to give them a shout out, their name?
My team, no, they're no longer together.
Okay.
But I trained at a Pollen gym. They kind of separated. But so I hooked up with them, and then that was it. Like, I fell in love with it, because it was just, once I went to a friend of mine did her first powerlifting meet before I did mine. And when I went, I was like, I like this, because it wasn't based on like looks. You had all walks of life, and it was just based on your strength. I mean, so what you do is, like, let's say we're going to deadlift, and I say, I'm going to deadlift 300 pounds. I go to the judge and say, put me down for 300. So that's my goal. So either you lift it or you don't.
Right.
It's no.
Right. No, I'm
You
looking
can't-
at your
yeah.
fingernails.
It's like, you're going to do the numbers or not. So once I seen that, I was like, oh, okay, I like this, because it's just not based on other things. It's just your numbers. Either you do the lift or you get it or you don't.
So is this what's also, because I see on your Instagram too that you be doing the Vamp Fitness thing too as well? Is that what's transitioning into that?
So Vamp Fit is Jimmy's thing. So they have a gym in Lodi, and
Lodi, where's that at?
Jersey.
in Jersey.
Okay, copy.
So Vamp Fit is just basically, they have their own trainers. It's part of another gym. I think it's Iron. I don't want to not say their name wrong. I gotta find it on Instagram. But so that's Jimmy. He has a partner, and then with them, they want me to be the recovery specialist on staff.
Fire.
So
That's
we're
what's
still
up.
working on it. I think Jimmy's just waiting to get like more members and stuff into the gym, because it's fairly new, and it was a CrossFit gym.
Okay.
But Jim wanted to bring more of the, because he does, more bodybuilding type training. Like, he uses machines and he uses some free weights. CrossFitters, their workouts, not that they're basic, but the equipment is. So it's like pull-ups, they're doing jump squats, they'll do deadlifts and squats, but they don't have like leg press machine or hamstring curls and all that other stuff. So he wanted to get that into the gym before they started to kick off.
Oh, okay. That's fire. Also, I know that you also kind of like, besides, working out and stretching people out, you also got into a little bit of some acting too as well, right? How did that come about?
That happened during COVID. So one of my clients is a producer,
Okay.
Alonzo Haran. So he just reached out to me during COVID, and he was like, listen, I have this script, and I think it would be, I thought about you as like one of the lead actress. I think it would be really good for you. Are you interested in doing it? I'm going to send it over. So I read it, and I was like, yeah. I'm like, who you want me to play? First, he didn't say lead actress. He said, I just want you to, see if you're interested in it. So I was like, oh, okay. So who you want me? I thought it was going to be like 5 minutes. It would have like a little, and then he was like, I want you to play. He gave me the name, one of the main characters. I was like, you realize I have no acting experience. Like, the last time I acted was like in a school play, maybe middle school.
What he said.
And he was like, no, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Like, I think it's going to be good for you. I'll set you up with an acting coach. Her name is Prudence. She was really good. Shout out to Prudence, because she helped me get ready. And that's how I got into that. And then he had another film, and he's like, I have a part for you in this film.
So you enjoyed the experience too?
I did. I mean, I don't want to do it full time. I do it because my main thing is the body work and the recovery. So if my schedule allows it, for sure, I'll do it. But his last project, it was like an action one, and he really wanted me to do it. I think it's just because of my hair. Like, he was like, I want you to play a villain.
Nah, you fake look like you was in the Matrix. Right?
Yeah. So he was like, I want you to do it. And I'm like, oh, it required too much of my time because they were doing like martial arts and they had to go during the week and then
That's
weekends.
tough.
And they were practicing how to fall and fight.
It's dope. Though.
Yeah, I would have loved to do it, but it's just it would take
Time
too much.
consuming.
Yeah, I'm out of my schedule, so I opted not to do that. But that's how that got started. Again,
That's
I'll
beautiful.
do it like for fun.
That's amazing. So once again, is there anything else you would like our audience?
She said it real quick. She said no.
We got the vibe.
Because we've been. I just got the text. We've been supposed to have wrapped up 30 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
listen.
definitely
Great
dope.
content, though. It was great content.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys were entertained.
Well, Tina, it's definitely a pleasure that you actually took the time out to come in here,
Definitely.
tell us your story and your journey.
Because you know I don't work on Sundays.
Amen. We have family time. And we very feel special being part of your family, and also sharing your experience to other people that might in the future want to take your classes and be able to also assist other people and also getting better. So everybody else, you can check Tina out on Instagram. Her name is The Stretch Boss. Look out for all her work. You can also purchase her merch. And if you need some help, man, just hit up in the DM, man. She's definitely, I'm going to be one of her clients coming up. So, you know what I'm saying? If you need some help, I'm going to let you know how my session goes too as well. So that way we could all, get better and not have to, live the rest of our lives through pain. All right?
Right.
Another episode of Proceed with Caution. And we out.
It's a Scoozy Beat.